Hello again, YouTube. Wes again here, and it is the second video I've made today. Don't normally make two videos, but hey, you know, I've got some time on my hands. Kids are down for bed, and wife and newborn are at the hospital, so I don't really have much going on. I'm sitting on the front porch. I actually had another video going, but I ran out of space on my phone, so I just upload them straight from my phone. I don't know about the merging of videos, so I just recorded another video. Sitting on the porch, about to light up my pipe and continue. I've already read this once, sorry. Already read this once. This is a Silmarillion. The history, basically the beginning story and summary of a lot of the events that led up to the Lord of the Rings trilogy, The Hobbit, then The Lord of the Rings. Learned a ton. I've already read through it once. I read that. So in the past month, let me just put it this way. Past month, I have read The Two Towers, Return of the King, Silmarillion, Children of Hurin, and now I am on to Unfinished Tales. But through Unfinished Tales, which are a lot of lore and stuff, I started bringing up, reading through things, and I'm like, I feel like I should know this, but I can't remember the details. So I'm actually putting Unfinished Tales aside, and I'm going to hit back on this guy and literally just read through it. Maybe summarize it, each section, in my own words. Maybe write it out or type it out so I can review it. Sometimes it helps me remember things if I write them out. So, well, the reason I have you guys out here, I mean, I could talk for about 30 to 45 minutes on a summary of that book. It's awesome. I'll just say that. Hard to read, but, you know, it's rewarding if you decide to take the plunge into Tolkien's History of Middle-earth. So, reason I have you guys out here, I don't think I have reviewed this, but I acquired this a while ago. It's not a new acquisition, not adding to my collection like my video earlier. This is my 16-inch Tavern Pipe. I received off of eBay, and came in the same packaging that they have them for, I think, from a company in Williamsburg, Virginia, not sure. But anyway, I bought it for a good price, about $10 cheaper than what the website promotes them for, or sells them for. And I've smoked this several times, love it. I mean, several times more, like, if I have time to sit and not be disturbed, I'll pull this guy out, because it's a cool smoke, very relaxing, and just to sit with this thing. I mean, it's the length of a church warden, and to sit like this just while you're reading a book, it gets the pipe out of the way if you're reading, and I love reading while smoking my pipe. So anyway, to give you a little background on this, I took some sealing wax because I didn't want to feel plaster on my teeth, or clay. Didn't want to feel it on my teeth because apparently it wears the enamel off your teeth. I know this because after reading some articles online on how to effectively do the wax coating on the mouthpiece, there was one article that talked about how historians can sometimes date, or archaeologists can sometimes date skeletons that they find based on the enamel on their teeth, and if it's just on one side, somehow it groups that skeleton into a couple 100-year gap where people were smoking clay pipes and kept them on one side of their mouth and had their teeth on there, so it made the enamel on their teeth wear off. I don't know if that's true, but kind of an interesting fact. It can't be completely false, because I've seen plenty of old, 100-year-old clay pipes that are being sold on eBay, collector finds that someone found in an attic, and there's a chest with all these things in them, including clay pipes, and they have wax tips. Most of them are broken and in pieces. But anyway, I took some sealing wax for like sealing envelopes, like a signet ring, like a stamp, a seal, hence the name sealing wax. Melted it in the oven, pulled it out of the oven, and rolled the tip of this thing in it. and it keeps it from one. You can't do candle wax; it has to be sealing wax. Otherwise, it'll flake off on your teeth, and that's just gross. And where are you going to get an unscented candle? I don't know. So this is obviously unscented because it's sealing wax for letters. I used to use it when writing letters to my wife before we were married, and I'd seal it with a cool stamp, and it was awesome, very romantic. I should probably take lessons from my past history and continue to do stuff for my wife because she's awesome. She bears children like a professional, and it's just she's my best friend. Anyway, I have enjoyed smoking this immensely. It is a pleasure to smoke. It's cool, easy to maintain. So tonight I will be, as I explained earlier in my other video, I'll be partaking in some of this Cornell and Deal. There you go. Cornell and Deal by Unite. I'm almost out. And yeah, so I don't know if I'll pick it back up because I don't know. Wife isn't too much of a fan. She says it smells kind of stale and old, which I think is awesome. As I mentioned in my other video, I think is so great because it isn't aged tobacco. And she says that it smells kind of stale and old and like musty, which I think is fantastic. It just begs to say if this was actually aged, which I think it probably is, because it has a high content of perique. So anyway, I'm gonna light this up, and while I'm doing that, cleaning this thing is awesome because we have a gas stove at our house, and gas is really great. But aside from cooking, one of the things you can do is if you take the diffuser, its little cap, you take the cap off of the jet, the gas supply, it's just a solid flame. It's a solid gas flame. And you turn it down enough or turn it up enough, you get it tweaked just right, it'll be a solid flame sticking out of the oven. The what do you call it? The range. And so here's the thing. I heard that if you throw one of these clay tavern pipes, if they start smelling like different tobaccos, you can just toss it into a campfire and it'll burn away all the junk inside of it and the residue. Well, as I looked at more posts and more articles, it ended up, people said, well, if the fire's not hot enough, it'll just turn your pipe black and then it'll just be gross and you'll have soot all over your white pipe. So what I ended up doing was I turned the flame right and found the right height to keep this bowl and the pipe away from the blue, and it's almost into the yellow and the orange part of the pipe, or the flame. And no joke, the thing literally was, obviously it was hot. It's so hot that the clay began to turn like glow red. But the cool thing is, everywhere that it got bright red, like glowing, it burned off every single bit of the char and the residue inside the clay pipe. So literally, I had this thing upside down on that flame for, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, like solid, like had it to the whole bowl was like glowing red. And then worked my way down, and once I got down to about here, I kind of blew on this area until I could hold it, and then I continued to work my way down to about here so I wouldn't roast wouldn't melt the wax off. But as you can see, like the thing is seriously, it's stark white, and it's like the flame did such a good job. So I'm gonna light this up. I noticed a soapy kind of taste when I first purchased this, and it really threw me off. And I'm like, I'm not gonna smoke this thing. What a waste of money. Well, then once I smoked a few bowls in it, it went away a little bit. But when I torched this thing and it completely got rid of it, was white inside the bowl, no residue of anything. I could breathe in and out of it, like draw in and out of it, and wouldn't taste a single thing. Not the previous tobacco I'd smoked, not the soapy taste. It's honestly become one of my favorite pipes next to my cobs when I have a minute to sit. So anyway, all right. I have the windows of my house open. I'm hoping that all of this smoke does not go into my house. Because my wife comes home from the hospital tomorrow, she probably won't be very happy. Alright. I mean, it's really cool. I've got that wax coating on the stem. How I wanted to, I could keep it in my mouth. Now, first time around, I actually had broken about a ½ inch off of this, because when I first made it, I did my first rolling in that sealing wax. By the way, if you end up doing the sealing wax and you get that going and you decide that's the route you want to take with one of these clay pipes, you gotta stick a toothpick. I would recommend finding, and it seems like a ridiculous purchase, but finding those toothpicks. I got them from a restaurant, just like, you know, matchbooks, but they had a box of toothpicks. I thought they were matches, but they weren't. I got home and they were toothpicks, but they were flat on one end. They weren't the torpedo shape, like they weren't sharp and then big and then sharp on the other end. They were flat on one end. I stuck one of those down in here and then rolled it in the wax. That way, when I was done, I could pull the toothpick out and then just clip off and kind of cut off the remaining wax, and it'd be fine. If you're going to do that with one of these, you got to stick a toothpick down there. Now, don't stick it all the way down to where you lose it, because then I don't know of any way you could get the toothpick out other than breaking the pipe. But I've really enjoyed having a clay pipe. Now that I know how to clean it, it sure is high maintenance. High maintenance, but you know, the way that it smokes. If any of you guys are new to the pipe community or have never jumped into having a meerschaum pipe, a lot of people say that you're getting a pure flavor of the tobacco in a meerschaum pipe, and that is not true. I have a meerschaum that I've smoked for, 4 years now, I think. Golly, I think I showed it to you guys. It's a lion, carved lion head. Really cool. Gift from my wife. But I smoke a lot of aromatics in that, and then switch over to non-aromatics, I will still have some residue, some residual taste in that pipe. And it could be the stem, and maybe I didn't clean it well enough, but I know for a fact that if I clean this pipe with the gas stove and it burns all of the residue from previous smokes out of this pipe, and I go all the way up the stem, so there's no residue in the whole thing, I know for a fact that when I put my first tobacco in here and smoke it after cleaning, I will be tasting just the tobacco. And with this wax stem, with the wax mouthpiece area, you know, I'm not getting that extra taste. You know the burn whenever you put your vulcanite stem back in your mouth after letting it rest for a few days after a couple smokes. You put it back in your mouth, and before even lighting up, you can kind of feel that burn. And I think that's the nicotine. I'm not sure. It may just be the natural properties of the vulcanite. But anyway, yeah, I really do like clay pipes. I think they're a novelty. I think they're great for what they're used for. If you're going to clean them and maintain them and be really gentle with them, I think they're great. Would I have one all the time? Probably not. I've thinking about getting some small ones and, you know, ones I can travel with. But I just think if that's the only pipe I take and it's a clay pipe and I get to wherever I'm going and it's shattered in my bag, I'm going to be pretty bummed. So anyway, of course, worst case scenario, I'll just go to a tobacconist where I'm at locally, wherever I traveled, and buy a corncob pipe for $5. So anyway, just wanted to get on here and hang out with you guys for a little bit longer. Anyway, clay pipes, I like them if you're up for the maintenance. If you want to message me, if you have any thoughts or feelings about the Silmarillion, go ahead. I've been raving about old Tolkien Middle-earth history for the last couple weeks. So anyway, you guys have a great night. Hope you enjoyed the sunset. We'll see you guys later.